Hey, Kevin here. Hope you're enjoying the episode.
Hey, who are you talking to, Kevin?
Listeners of our shows, I also want to let them know that if they're enjoying what we've been doing, they can support us on Patreon.
Oh, Patreon. Were you going to tell them about the early episodes? Also, Patreon-exclusive episodes that can be found there, too?
Well, yeah, I was going to do the...
yeah, and then there's the other cool stuff, including art, merch for subscribers, like tote bags, hoodies, shirts, mugs.
Yeah, and...
Can you believe people could support us for only $5 a month? You're definitely going to mention that, too, right?
I was. Support Supernatural Selection and The Distraction Hole on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Visit patreon.supernaturalselectionpod.com to learn more and get started today. Were you aware that Popeye's Chicken now has a pickle menu?
Just like pickles?
Well, they've got fried pickles as a side, but they have pickle-crusted, pickle glazed chicken and chicken wings and pickle lemonade.
Huh.
As a anti-pickle person, I hate this.
And I am trying to get Mike to agree to go to Popeye's tomorrow so I can have fried pickle.
Yeah, like I've done fried pickle before. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I understand that like there's a refreshing quality to like pickle brine because of the salt content of it. But like I just can't get behind the idea of like pickle lemonade.
Yeah, no, I can't get behind that either. But like if you eat Chick-fil-A, their stuff is like marinated in pickle brine anyway.
Yeah.
So. This is a hell of a way to start a show. Hello and welcome to Supernatural Selection. I'm your host, Kevin. With me this week are Mike the Skeptic. Mike, how you doing?
Perfectly pickled. Welcome to Pickle Natural Pickle Selection. This is your host, Pickle Kevin.
A little early in the night for you to be this pickled.
Vlasic Mike.
All yet.
Vlasic Mike.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's my bread and butter dills. All right. And we've got Mr. David Davis. David, how are you?
I am okay. It is my spring break. All
right.
I'm just very excited about that new Donkey Kong game that I'm not going to be able to afford for a while.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, the prices on that shit is crazy, but that's for Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I am currently a day off my meds, which is perfect timing because this week we're going to talk about chaos magic. But before we do that, a little bit of housekeeping. I am now streaming on the Discord on Mondays. We're watching my Hot Wheat playlist on Mondays. Or we're going to be watching old documentaries from a YouTube channel, like old paranormal documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you would like to be involved in that, join our Discord. You can find a link at supernatpod.rocks. And that's Mondays, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Anything else, David, you want to bring up any housekeeping?
No, not particularly, but no, I might also join in on the Monday streaming here and there. I've considered like just editing a supercut of moments from Trailer Park Boys and making everybody watch that.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so fun. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Mike, have you got any housekeeping you would like to throw out there?
I mean, I got to clean the bathroom.
You always have to clean that bathroom.
Yeah, well, bathrooms don't stay clean, do they?
Yeah, that's
true. It's a real pickle.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I shouldn't have brought it up. Anyway, guys.
Would you say it's a dilly of a pickle?
No. No, I wouldn't, you fucker. But, guys, today we are going to be continuing our year of woo by starting a true in-depth look at magic. Particularly this week, chaos magic. Now, David's going to be handling a lot of the magic topics as we go forward, but given this one's linked to Discordianism, I figured I'd snatch this one up.
I'd consider all this more of a collective ritual between us.
So we're getting into Grant Morrison territory, are we?
All right,
Yep.
I'm not going to be in the room when those rituals go down.
Now, we don't have to do that kind, and we're going to get into that
sure you're
kind
not.
later. But
I think the it would be too tempting to try.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so before we jump right in, let's talk about my sources for this week. First, we've got Advanced Magic for Beginners, which, going into this, you can find a link to all of these sources I have where you can purchase them, linked in the show doc, which there'll be a link in the show notes. So check that out. First book is Advanced Magic for Beginners by Alan Chapman. This book in particular is a great start if you're looking to figure out chaos magic and want it boiled down in terms you can understand with some actual super basic how-to directions on how to do chaos magic. And it's a great primer. It's also very amusing.
Now aren't instructions the opposite of chaos?
Well, yes, but it's more of a starter thing to get you going. It's like, starter yeast.
Okay. Simple
It gets
chaos.
it gets you started, but then you got to figure it out. It also says start here, then ignore everything I've told you. So
yeah, that's Discordian for you.
Yep. Next is Condensed Chaos, an Introduction to Chaos Magic by Phil Hine. This is probably the most important book for the modern chaos magician. I'm going to point out there's a lack of the letter K in this title. So it is magic instead of magic.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out the K is only used in Thelema, which is Crowley's stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the book on the subject. It's deep. It takes the topic relatively seriously, and it is also amusing. One of the things I've noticed, chaos magicians tend to have a sense of humor. Third, Libernal and Psychonaut by Peter J. Carroll. Once you have damaged your brain with condensed chaos, Libernal and Psychonaut are your serious business books. I do not recommend reading these until you have broke brain. Though the words chaos magic are never mentioned in Libernal and Psychonaut, this is the true beginning of the movement, and we'll get into that as the show goes. I also recommend Dr. Justin Sledge's Esoterica on YouTube. It's a fantastic source for everything on the occult, and apparently the guy went to Millsaps here in Jackson. So, interesting thing. Another source is Angela's Symposium on YouTube. It's got good info. What the fuck? Info, and has worked with Dr. Sledge before. She's got some good interviews with the authors of some of these books. And she's just wide-ranging topics on magic and the occult. And Ivy Corvus on YouTube. Some great rundowns of chaos magic if you're in a hurry and just want a refresher on some of the stuff in here. So, anyway, a lot of sources this week for me. So, yeah. Before we get started, what do you guys know about magic?
Now I have an answer, but I want Mike to go first.
Okay.
Okay, other than it doesn't exist, it depends on the magic you're talking about. I know of Magic the Gathering.
Okay, yeah, no, we played that together. I know you know about that.
I mean, there's, D&D magic. There's, fantasy magic.
Yeah, so you know the general gist of magic, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. David?
So I've known it more as like a self-starter motivational tool than anything like necessarily real, and I'm putting that in air quotes here. The idea is that by engaging in ritual and rethinking your world, you're essentially bootstrapping your mindset to achieve something or meet a goal, right? It's like a mind framing tool. most magical practice I've come to look at comes down to thinking about some change you wish to make, engaging in some pattern or habit that keys you into the mindset. So it'd be like, that would be the ritual. And then you begin taking more practical steps to meet your aims. It's kind of like peanut butter to the celery of actual practical steps, right? You have to give it that flavor.
Then why call it magic?
Yeah, no, it's seriously, a lot of it is like the power of positive, it's like, the power of positive thinking, but with like cum.
Again, we're going to talk about cum a lot in this episode. It's not all about the cum, but we're three guys and we think it's really, really funny.
We're highly immature, and this is going to be very amusing. So
I'm not going to clean my room unless I think gnomes are helping me.
Here's the thing: if it helps you to clean your goddamn room, then the gnomes fucking helped you, and that's magic.
Hello, I'm David the Gnome. You might know me as Tom Bosley. Anyway, before I get into chaos magic itself, I'm going to talk a bit about its origins and beginning with the two paths of magic.
So we're moving into talent trees already, then.
Pretty much. It is kind of like playing the later Final Fantasy games, where it's like, what kind of magician do I want to be?
Red mage.
Yeah, seriously. Now, I need to stress that I am in no way an expert on any of this. I am doing my best to summarize Western magic, which is probably 200 years of history, if not more, and we'll get into this in depth at a later date.
Also complicating all of this, I think, are the number of charlatans involved in the discourse and, like, numerous figures who dominate the conversation, like Aleister Crowley comes to mind.
Oh, yeah. And, again, he's getting his own episode. You gotta. So, all right. So, broadly speaking, there are two paths in magic. The right-hand path and the left-hand path. And I'm going to do my best to summarize this as I could understand it, all right?
So does this just mean which hand you're whacking off with?
Maybe. Nobody said it out loud. It may be something that's understood once you join the discipline. But
tonight I'm going on the right-hand path.
Yeah, I'm always
the lotion.
right-hand path. It puts a lotion on its skin and the spell doesn't work.
Well, considering left hand is sinister, that's the evil path when you whack it that way.
Mike, you're left-handed.
I know.
Yeah, you're evil.
Evil masturbatorium.
Yeah, sinister masturbatorium. Oh my God, Mike, you've got a path. So let's start with the right-hand path, shall we? The right-hand path is what you would consider your white magic.
See. Hand discrimination.
Well, I can't argue.
I'm not saying you are. I'm saying they are.
Yeah. Anyway, it consists of your organizations, like your OTO, your Ordo Templo Orientis, or your Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. I guess the Rosicrucians. I don't know. These groups tend to involve, like, your knowledge handed down from secret chiefs via psychic contact with the higher levels of the order, which is very much I'm a white guy talking to people in the mountains of Tibet.
Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange.
Yeah, kinda. There were multiple levels in these groups that you could aspire to. So it's a little bit like a magic version of an MLM scheme. But instead of money, it's esoteric knowledge. But to try to summarize it, it's a lot of people dressed in very silly clothes with theater swords, doing very silly things, and taking it all very, very seriously. Now, this path consisted of, like, study and meditation and intense rituals and consolidation of your power and knowledge, and basically sitting there until you had to pee and knowing you were a wizard.
I know this, and I consider this to be like the theater kid magic.
It is.
Yeah.
It is all like there's a great story about Aleister Crowley trying to barge back into the Hermetic Order's headquarters to get their sacred artifacts, and he was like wearing robes and had a fake sword, and he brought a constable with him, and the constable's like, "Can y'all like fucking not?" So, anyway, that's the general idea. It's your your white magic. You know, your it's what you consider proper Western magic.
Cracker magic.
Cracker magic, yes. Now, your left-hand path is black magic. It is considered... yes. All of this can be considered kind of racist, but it's your darker magics. Who wants to talk about Crowley for a minute? Because this is his bag.
I think you'd have to talk about Crowley for more than just a minute, but okay.
Oh, it's going to be Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm always down to talk about Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, and we will for
the
hours.
The wickedest man in the world.
I would have sinned, but I didn't know how to start. Freak. Anyway, see, all of these orders of magic came about because somebody didn't like the status quo. Like Crowley, for instance, realized that he wasn't having a good time, and he realized he was the one to usher in the Aeon of Horus, and he was not fucking enough or doing nearly enough drugs in the Golden Dawn.
So Crowley was like absolutely all about the fun times, but his definition of fun also meant a lot of bottoming while wearing a cape. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, no, we don't want to shame anybody. It's just, that was his thing.
Maybe I get the feeling that Crowley may have been one of those bottoms that doesn't, clean themselves enough.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta remember, this is a dude that, we'll go into it. Crowley started his own fucking religion called Thelema.
Fucking religion.
Yes.
Literally.
And it involves sex magic with a K, so sex magic, animal sacrifice, and a lot of self-serving spells. Like, do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
I am awesometh, so sucketh my cock.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nope. Yeah. This left a terrible taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Obviously.
He's a bottom who doesn't clean himself, of course.
Oh, you fuckers. I mean, when your magical path has been started by the so-called, quote, wickedest man in the world that Mussolini threw out of Italy for being too evil, you're gonna have a bad rep.
Okay, so the first thing is, when you say wickedest man in the world, you have to make it sound like a fancy boy saying it.
Yeah, the wickedest man in the world.
And, yeah, even then, his wickedness was more edgy than, more of an edgy teen than anything particularly wicked, from what I recall.
Yeah.
I could think of people today who are, so much worse.
Yeah, it's very... Sorry, Mike, you were saying something?
Where's Crowley from?
England.
The wicked bottom of the East.
Wicked bottom of the East. Oh, my God. I love it. Oh, man. But yes, no, it's a very hot topic level of evil.
Mm-hmm.
The
best...
Lots of Spencer's.
Yeah, it's a lot of, I bought this at Spencer's and we're gonna summon the devil.
The best analogy I can think of is, did you ever see the episode of the Venture Brothers with the orb and the flashback to the original adventurers, and they have Aleister Crowley, but he's voiced by Dr. Orpheus?
I don't remember this at all.
Oh, it's an amazing episode of Venture Brothers, but their characterization of Aleister Crowley is just absolutely perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, look up a clip of that sometime.
Well, again, to summarize, if it's Magic with a K, you might see it on a heavy metal album cover. And that's kind of your left-hand path stuff.
So to reflect on that whole theater kid theme I saw with the right-hand path, I see this as kind of punk kid magic, but not this is more I would say surface level punk.
I would say this is heavy metal magic.
That's fair.
There's still organization involved.
No, this is still the theater kid, but this is the theater kid that did drugs.
Yeah, I mean, it's still involving rituals and chanting and books and grimoires and stuff.
I knew a couple of Magic people, like they didn't know it and I didn't know it at the time, but looking back in high school, I'm like, oh, that's what those people were.
Well, you say the theater kids who did drugs, but having known theater kids, they all do drugs. So
I knew theater kids that didn't.
Well,
Like,
I think the right-hand path would be like the straight-edge theater kids, and the left-hand path are
the ones who still go to
weed
church.
and cloves.
yeah, the strongest smoke the theater kids are usually going to have is incense. So, now, the question, Wither Chaos... Where does chaos magic fall on this line? It's mostly on the left-hand path, but don't tell them that. The reason being, it rejects almost all of the traditions of Western magic while embracing all of the traditions of Western magic.
Is this also like where you have to get all the Sonic Chaos Emeralds?
You know, the thing about chaos magic, Mike, is that is a valid question.
If you want more information, go to wicked.com. No, don't go there. Don't go there. That's a porn site. I'm sorry. I just had to.
Okay, yeah, don't do that. Man, I'm glad Rotten's not around anymore. Shit. Anyway, it has a very bad reputation on the right-hand path because of its DIY nature and its name in general. You know, it's called chaos magic. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, this is a tool of the dark arts. Mm-hmm. And it's got a bad reputation on the left-hand side sometimes because it steals most of their best ideas.
It also just sounds cooler.
Are you on the left-hand path? No, I'm a chaos magician.
And then
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm comparing it to like Dungeons and Dragons classes. So I feel like right hand would be like the wizards, left hand are the sorcerers, and then the chaos magic is the warlocks.
Sure.
I mean, that's how I'm seeing it.
Sure. No, that's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's your theater kids, your heavy metal kids, and then chaos is your punk. And it literally is rooted in the punk scene in a lot of places. Like in South America, a lot of your chaos magicians are like crust punks. So that's definitely a thing. Now, before we really get to start talking about the origins of chaos magic, I need to talk for a few minutes about the idea of magical thinking, and I know that it's going to get Mike going for reasons. So, what pops into your head when I say those two words, the words magical thinking?
Delusion and deflection.
Okay, fair. Mike?
Well, thinking about unicorns.
Oh God, that's you are a treat. So, what I mean by magical thinking can be summed up simply. Magical thinking is the idea of performing an action that will logically have no effect on anything and expecting it to have consequences in the real world. Now, I know Mike has thoughts on this, and I'm going to let you get to them in a minute, Mike. Mm-hmm. But the best example of this are superstitious actions taken by athletes before a game. All right. Now, Mike?
Yeah.
Have at me.
I can think of a better example. Voting third party in America.
Oh, motherfucker.
Ooh, spicy.
Now, we talked a lot about the whole magical thinking thing. You have problems with the term alone, right?
I mean, it's just one of those, I don't know, it doesn't sit well with me.
Like, what was the term you said? You said it was superstition, essentially, right?
But yeah, I mean, magical thinking just sounds like another term for superstition.
And you're not wrong.
I mean, why do you need a new term for it?
Because
other than it's, sounds edgy and like I'm edging and I'm edged.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I mean,
right then.
I could see the value in the terminology being what it is because it reflects a very specific mindset. Like, okay, it's an unreal idea, but when you're leaning on that unreality to kind of motivate yourself, it kind of quantifies it in a weird way. It's hard to explain,
Right.
but like I can see how the term emerges and how people use it, because I mean
Right.
I've used that term, you know, if someone's trying to do something that's
Also,
yeah.
I also want to clarify that I'm not immune to this. Like I don't
You're
sit
a
here and
bowler.
pretend
You should be all about this.
I don't pretend to not fall victim to this, but because I think really it's part of our pattern recognition in our brains.
Right.
We see something, correlate, like, I don't know, you pick that penny off the floor and like,
Yeah.
something nice happens to you that day. And so, oh, that's good luck.
Not too late, you're a wizard, Mike.
Yeah. But, and I get that too. Like, there's several times, I mean, I think, shouldn't do such and such because that, maybe something bad will happen. Like, wait a minute. No, Mike, no. I have to stop myself and be like, no, Mike, that's dumb. Come on. Just because you listen to that song doesn't mean, something's going to happen.
Well, you know what? I had something similar like that back. I had the Batman Returns video game for the Super Nintendo, and I was convinced I could not beat the Batmobile driving section unless I was listening to Over the Sea by Information Society. So I just put it on loop while driving that.
I have a video game example. So you guys know I'm into Pokemon.
Yes.
I know that like holding certain buttons does not make it more likely to catch a Pokemon.
Yeah.
But whenever I throw the Pokeball, I have to hit down and A and hold them as the Pokeball begins to shake. And it's just like one of those things that makes me think like, oh, okay, I know in my heart, I know in my mind that it's not going to work that way to help me catch the Pokemon, but I still do it anyway.
Well, here's a fun thing that's related to Stormlight Archive that I noticed. Involving
Welcome to the
magical
distraction
thinking.
hole.
Yeah, no, shut up. No, here's the thing. Like, in Brandon Sanderson's stuff, all the magic has, like, a logical way that it works. Like, in Stormlight Archive, to use your surge binding power, you breathe in Stormlight, it fuels your power, and then you can do your thing that you're capable of doing, all right? That's not magical thinking in that definition. The only person in those books that partakes in magical thinking is Adeline, who, before he goes into a duel, eats chicken, makes sure he has his mother's locket, and then talks to his sword.
Well, yeah.
That is, it's superstition, it's magical thinking, it's sporting behavior. But he fits that mold.
Well, I mean, I think, Sanderson had a specific, type of idea in mind.
Oh,
of
yeah.
The person when he, did that.
Sure, but, I just think it's funny. The one guy who doesn't have any powers is the one that does magical thinking. So, we've talked about that. We've talked about our systems. We are going to take our first break. And when we come back, I will tell you guys about how chaos magic kind of came to be and who made it.
It better be chaotic.
Spoiler alert, it was me.
You did it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be chaotic. So, we'll be right back after this.
I wasn't born yet, but I still did it.
Damn, son.
Hey, man, what's got you off in your phone there?
Oh, just going through all the funny Mothman memes and supernatural shit posts I've been wanting to share. I just don't know where to put the posts yet.
Don't you know about the Supernatural Selection Discord?
We have a Discord?
Yeah, for years, dude. Where have you been?
Can people chat with the hosts and get previews of upcoming episodes and generally post funny shit as much as they want with other listeners?
I mean, if that's your bag. I mean, personally, I wouldn't do that, but there are even live streaming events for the shows there, too. You've been in a few. How do you not know this stuff?
It must have been my doppelganger. How do I get into the Discord?
It's easy. Just visit discord.supernaturalselectionpod.com. Now say that 3 times fast.
Well, that's perfect. Now I can share 3 terabytes of Hollow Earth memes. Get it? Terabytes.
Never mind. Forget I said anything. Just don't do that. you should definitely not visit discord.supernaturalselectionpod.com to join the Discord. We don't want you there.
Too late. I'm already posting my alien abduction fan fiction with the general chat.
Join the hosts and listeners of Supernatural Selection on the official Discord. Just visit discord.supernaturalselectionpod.com.
And we're back. So, what do you guys think about magic or magic so far?
Doesn't exist.
Calling it magic is the nerdiest shit ever, and that's coming from someone who is on a podcast about this shit.
Yeah, that's true.
It's from F+.
Yeah. Now, I will say, you said it doesn't exist, Mike. Mm-hmm. That first book I mentioned, the Magic for Beginners sort of book.
Magic for Dummies.
Yeah, the first thing it says is, you always get certain questions, and the first question, does magic exist? No. I'm like, the fuck? Book am I reading? Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about Chaos Magic's origins. Now, this is a very scattershot kind of thing I've had to piece together. I'm sure there are better sources about where it came from, but I'm working with what I had. So, Chaos Magic is here today because of three important individuals, and we're going to talk a bit about them, but not in a lot of detail. Most of them could probably have their own episodes, particularly our first subject, Austin Osman Spare, who lived from 1886 to 1956. Now, Spare had been a follower of Crowley's, but he became disillusioned with the complex rituals and sex and blood involved.
It's sex and blood. How complicated could the rituals be?
We're talking about Crowley. The dude found a way to complicate it. I promise you. It involved baking, David. So, Spare wrote a lot of esoteric books, including the Book of Pleasure, and they are written like grimoires. His biggest contribution was the concept of sigil magic, which we're going to get into later when we get to the how-to sort of section. Just know that the modern concept of sigil magic begins with Austin Osman Spare. His belief system is hard to explain, so I highly recommend checking out Esoterica's video on him for better info than I can provide. There is a link in the show notes.
I do appreciate that his chief issues with Thelema appear to have been the complexity of rituals, only to develop his own complex rituals through sigil magic.
Yes, okay, fair. His belief system also, which, you know, at least he didn't take mescaline and wander into the desert and talk to Tote for his beliefs. So,
hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, that's true. Up next, we've got Peter J. Carroll, born in 1953 and is still with us. Mr. Carroll was called by Robert Anton Wilson, who you may remember as author of Illuminatus and a noted Discordian. Wilson said that Peter J. Carroll is the most original and probably the most important writer on magic since Aleister Crowley. So that's some pretty high praise there.
Yeah.
Carroll is a very private man, and I can find very little about him since he's done so few interviews. He is, as I mentioned, the author of the first true book on chaos magic, even though it didn't mention the term chaos magic. His major contribution is the stripping down of magic to its most fundamental levels.
Now, I have a couple of his books in my library, and he is most definitely worthy of an episode of his own. Like, the biographical components will be lacking, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like more looking at the theory overall that he's kind of put out there for sure.
Okay. So, I look forward to coming up with that one. That's going to be fun. Lastly is someone even more enigmatic, Philip Hind. I don't even know when he was born.
He wasn't born. He emerged from a spell.
He just came out of an egg. Hein is probably the most responsible for the creation of chaos magic. Condensed Chaos was the first approachable book on the subject and could be seen as the charter document of the whole movement. It clearly states what the movement is and how to start doing it. I don't really have much more to go on about him than that.
So I think we're kind of talking about him as the codifier here, as in he recognized a kind of movement and then developed a terminology for it.
Yes, it's kind of like the show Connections, where like each step needed the one prior, but definitely Carol came up with the movement, and Hein, like you said, codified it. He's the one that really assembled it together.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, to summarize, these three people like to pretend they were wizards. Mike, how's that make you feel? That they make a living being wizards.
It better not be a good living. It better be like, fucking 40 hours at Dairy Queen money. It better not be like, femboy programmer money.
I couldn't tell you, but they make enough that they don't have to do interviews.
Well, also, they're LARPing as wizards. How often are people going to try to interview someone? Like, it'd be like, would you interview Vermin Supreme if he wasn't running for political office?
Yes. In a heartbeat.
Okay, that's fair. Then again, we're weird.
That's a terrible question.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, wrong fucking group, buddy.
Man.
So, now, as with any good magic system, its origins are shockingly simple, and we discussed a little bit of this earlier. Someone somewhere got really sick of their Magus's bullshit. Each of these people basically figured they knew how to do it better. I do find it amusing that all of this change in the magical landscape of Western magic started in the pubs in the UK in the 70s.
Which is interesting because I don't have the exact time that they repealed that law, but they repealed a law against practicing magic, I think, in the 60s or 70s in the UK. It
was the late 60s, early 70s, yes.
Yes.
So immediately a bunch of guys ran down a pub and started writing spells and shit. It's just fucking hilarious to me. I just picture, though, a bunch of Tolkien-esque wizards arguing in a pub and some young neophyte getting fed up and starting his own movement because he will be damned if he has to watch one more apple on his altar to Molech rot.
And Alan Moore was there, too, quietly doing his own thing.
Could you say that like they said about the magician in the Lost City of Atlanta?
Oh, yeah. And Alan Moore was there, too, quietly doing his own thing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, Alan, God, the Brits, only the Brits would have time to go drink and come up with a magic system. I don't know.
It's so funny that it, really starts to emerge heavily after that law is repealed.
I know. It's kind of like when they took buggery off the books as a felony.
I feel like there needs to be an episode about that specific law because that is incredible.
That's a good magical England in the 70s is a great idea for an episode.
Hell yeah.
Just lots of bell bottoms and, orgies and magic.
And lager.
So typical British wizard, got it.
Big, faded glass, glasses like Michael Caine wore. They're kind of like you're dark at the top and fade to the bottom.
Yeah, Austin Powers looking motherfuckers, but with a staff.
Bunch of fucking bearded wizards doing blow off each other's dicks. Love to be your staff, young hobbit.
We
are not talking Crowley yet. So,
but they're still, they're still wizards. Yeah. They're still freaky as heck. They're just, a more respectable freaky.
Sure. So let's talk about some philosophical principles, shall we?
Okay.
But I want to talk about wizards using magic to make each other come.
Look, you can do that in your own time and write some slash fic.
I was gonna say,
I shoot lightning into your butt.
Fiction.
Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Oh, God. That's the safe word. Oh, Christ. So, chaos magic has fuck. Chaos magic has 6 principles. I wish it was 5 because of the link to Discordianism, but it's 6. And they are, and here they are with brief interpretation.
Well, maybe you could treat like one of the principles as optional. That seems pretty Discordian. Like 5 or more also sounds good.
Maybe we could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and also 5.
There you go.
5A and B.
Ooh, I like that. But no, we're going to do it as written.
Okay.
Principle 1, the avoidance of dogmatism.
The avoidance of dogs. You see a dog, just stay away from it, man. Just stay away.
Well, you know, wizards and cats, man.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the avoidance of dogmatism. This means there is no ultimate truth to be had other than what you believe right now. There are both no gods at all, and all gods are equally valid. Use them as you see fit. Belief is more important than the dogma of a belief system, and all beliefs should be temporary, and you should always be moving on from them.
It's just so funny to me how much of the stuff can align with like my own worldview. Also, isn't unlike developing a hypothesis in a scientific sense, which I'm sure is something that just made Mike's eye twitch.
You know, they actually talk about using a version of the scientific method, but like even in Advanced Magic for Beginners, he's like, it's not really science, but we just use the terminology because it makes us feel important.
Yeah, because for science, you have to write that shit down.
You have not let me get there yet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to write your results down, and you know.
Yeah, well,
I'm not talking about writing sigils down and jacking off on it.
No. We'll get there, though.
But that's why I use qualifier isn't unlike. There is a
Isn't
parallel,
unlike.
but
It
not.
is science-like.
Yeah.
Science-ish. They like to feel like it's a science.
Science with a K.
Sometimes.
Like the Christian scientists.
Scientists? Scientists?
The Scientologists?
Like McGick.
McGick and science.
Science.
Oh, I hate this. Oh, God. All right, so principle 2, personal experience trumps all. No matter what an older or more experienced magus tells you, no matter what the books I have mentioned at the beginning of this say, what works for you is the only thing that matters. In Magic, your personal experience has more value than any teacher because it works for you.
I kind of call bullshit on this one, so I think I found my optional principle here.
Okay.
Though maybe it's me more taking Magic and applying it to like experience at large. I don't see like the benefit of ignoring more experienced people.
Sure.
Like, take it with a grain of salt, but also like.
Well, the other thing is, it's basically the books say, try it. If it doesn't work for you, ignore it because it's not you that came up with it. Mike, how does that make you feel?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you my interpretations of them when you're done with the 6.
Okay, great.
Oh, you're not going to rudely interrupt the flow like I do?
No, I mean, I'm working on some stuff.
Wow.
Oh, I see the whiteboard from here.
Oh, not notes,
That's not a board. If we're talking about magic here, it's not a board. Anyway, principle 3, technical excellence. This one's simple. If you're going to do this, do it to the best of your abilities. Don't half-ass it. Keep your magic journal. Treat it like science by noting results, and always keep your word. Your word has to be worth something. Okay. 4, deconstructing the mind. You need to destroy all beliefs and eventually seek ego death. You need to always question your core beliefs and why you do everything. 5, diverse approaches. You need to try new things constantly in your magic works. Never settle on a specific magical discipline because once you do, it's not chaos magic anymore. And 6, Gnosis and the Gnostic state. This is vitally important for the Chaos Magician to reach an altered state or gnosis in order to work spells because you have to not consciously think about what you've done. We'll cover more on that later. I'll be 100% honest here. While I'm fascinated by the idea of magic and performing it and chaos magic as well, the things you need to do in your mind sound extremely unhealthy to me.
I think it's a matter of degrees and knowing where to stop. A lot of these, I think that you can boil them down to simple ideas that may reflect a mindset that can be applied to the larger world. For example, never be set in your beliefs. Experience can be a better teacher. Give it your all. Never fail to question yourself. Try new things and go with the flow. Like those are like the laconic, basic versions of those principles, right?
Right.
It's just with any of those, it's to certain degrees. If you go too far in a direction, of course, it's going to be harmful.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mike?
So I was thinking my interpretations of it are, for the first one is, shut up, Dad.
Okay, hang on. Let me go back and look at one. One was the avoid. Okay, yeah, shut up, Dad. I see that. All right.
Number 2 is, I'm a special boy.
God, I see where this is going. Okay.
Number 3 is, I can do it myself.
Okay.
I was working on the others.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's as far as you got. All right. Quality content that you come to expect
with a K.
from Supernatural. So, God damn it! Everything's with a K. So, but to what I said earlier about the whole unhealthy, apparently it's also unhealthy to some chaos magicians as well. There are a lot of cases mentioned in books and in online resources of someone doing chaos magic and suffering from severe mental illness afterwards.
Yeah, you keep doing stuff expecting a result, you don't get it. I mean, it's not good for you.
I think afterward there is probably like optimistic phrasing. I think it was probably there to begin with.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm not going to say it's always going to happen.
No, I mean, no. That's
fair. But you really do have to be careful with something that requires you to constantly destroy your sense of self and your pillars of belief to practice it.
Yeah, it comes down to managing a balance. You're not the Godhead and you'll never be the Godhead, but having the idea that you have a lot more control over your experience isn't a bad mindset to have, because it can put the needed pressure on you to make things happen in your life. I think the difference is when you kind of succumb to your ego or the mystical. Again, I'm seeing like these parallels to personal philosophy that you can apply to your life in a broad and healthier sense. It's just not getting too wrapped in it. Stick to the real and don't succumb to the unreal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said, like, oh, chaos magic just sounds like magical self-help. It is not.
Magical self-harm?
Maybe a little bit.
Psychic blades cut my skin. These wounds, they will not heal.
God
Cut
damn
my
it.
ego into pieces. This is my magic thought.
Oh, God damn it. Like, here's a good example. Like, last podcast on the left is where I first learned about chaos magic. And Marcus and Henry took up chaos magic. Well, a few years ago, they did a Q&A thing, and everybody was asking, hey, how's the chaos magic going? And Marcus and Henry were both like, we had to stop because it was driving us insane and had to go to therapy.
But here's the thing. Marcus and Henry probably already needed therapy.
Yes. That's the other thing is I feel like you need to have a certain level of mental health to do this, or you will drive yourself insane. The same with religion.
I think it probably also attracts people that are probably also need mental health.
I mean, I'm interested.
So
yeah, that case in point.
It's kind of a, what would you say? Not a catch-22, but
it kind of is a catch-22.
It attracts people that need help. Therefore, they're going to
need help.
Probably fuck themselves up over it.
It kind of is a catch-22, actually, Mike. That's a very good very good observation.
More of a
there.
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah,
switch.
sure.
But I was thinking more of a, I don't know, honey trap or whatever. It's like
I don't know.
It's attracting people that.
Well, a honey trap would be with intent.
So, okay, how about a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Sure.
Yeah. I think that. Speaking of magical terms, there you go. You're a wizard, Mike.
Yeah. Yep, you are a wizard, Mike. Do you want one of my wands?
I'll go get my my beer carton wizard hat and put it on.
Oh, that's right. You've got your beer carton wizard hat. So here's my here's how I interpret these for the most part. Like, number one, avoidance of dogmatism. I'm fine with that. I feel like the belief is a more important part of any belief system. The dogmatic stuff will drag your ass down.
Yeah, as we've seen with like virtually every religion, what kind of does the harm to the religion and how people interpret it is dogmatism and the rituals and rules, right?
Yeah, read Small Gods. That is a great, like the Terry Pratchett novel Small Gods is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, how a religion can kill a god. Mm-hmm. So, the second one, personal experience trumps all. I'm kind of, maybe. But like, I do need guidance from other people, because I don't know how to do a lot of things. 3, technical excellence. That just means do your best. Mm-hmm. Always put your best best foot forward, and be a good person.
Which, like, it's practical, right? It's a
there's
idea.
Nothing wrong with that. Deconditioning of the mind. Well, I do agree you need to question your beliefs sometimes. I feel like everyone at a point in their life needs to do that. I know I did it. Mike, you did it.
I mean, I've done it several times in my life. But
yeah, exactly. You should look at why you hold certain beliefs and, like, determine if those beliefs are
if they still fit. I mean, come on, look, you can't wear the same pair of pants all your life. You got to get new pants that fit you better. Same with beliefs. Like, you look at them and going, okay, well, I've got a muffin top in these beliefs, so I think I should, get some that fit better.
Yeah, and if you do wear the same pair of belief pants your whole life, you're from West Virginia. No, sorry, my bad. That's a bad joke.
It probably has holes in it, too.
No, diverse approaches. You can adopt that, too. You should try different things your whole life. Mm-hmm. Gnosis. I don't know, man. Altered states of consciousness, I feel like sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. That's a 50-50 shot. I've not had a good one.
Isn't that like the evil superpower from Final Fantasy?
That's Genosha.
Oh.
No, Genova. Genosha is the place
island in
the
X-Men.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Now, see, the way that I'm looking at this idea of gnosis in the Gnostic state, it's the issue of overthinking. If you're spending too much time, you have to detach yourself. And I think,
I get it. And we're going to go into that in the next segment. But, it's definitely a detachment of what you... Yeah, it's complicated, and I have trouble doing it. And it's mostly part of why I'm in therapy and on medication. But we'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm. That I didn't quite grok because I don't understand it.
No, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it some more.
So I couldn't come up with a quippy thing because I didn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't either. It took me a long time. It took me reading Advanced Magic for Beginners to know what that was.
It turns out when you just have gnomes in your underpants, that's what it means.
So,
all right, Butters.
What does it say about me that, like, I vibe with all of these except for 2? Because I'm seeing these as more practical ideas.
No, I mean, that's fine. You can get meaning out of all these, mostly. Which, again, there's a reason some people are like, hey, this could probably help my mental health. No, go talk to someone. Please go talk to someone and get on medication if you need it.
It's like that Michael Jordan gif. Stop
it. Yeah, stop it. Get some help. So we're going to take a break after all that to let Mike and my brain cool down. And we will be right back after this. Hi, everyone. This is Kevin from Supernatural Selection. Are you an independent creator? Do you have a webcomic or an Etsy store? Do you 3D print things? Or are you just looking to get some word out for your Discordian cabal with social terrorism? Well, we'd love to help. And David, I believe you've got some details about how we can help.
Why, certainly. If you go to supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact, that is supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact, you can learn how to advertise with us.
That's right. I believe the rate is $2 per episode. You can't beat that with a stick.
I mean, trust me, we've tried.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's literally cheaper than dirt.
Mm-hmm. And best of all, if you're not sure how to write an ad, we'll do it for you. We'll even record it.
Absolutely. Just let us know what you need in the ad, and we'll be happy to do that for you.
And again, that URL is supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact.
And now, back to the show. And we're back. Guys, how are we feeling about chaos magic right now?
No change really.
Still just some hokum, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Unsurprising to you, Kevin. I'm still into it.
Yeah, figured.
I think I can embrace it as far as developing a flexible mindset and using it to like motivate me. But I also feel like I can avoid some of the trappings that can like make it toxic. But then again, I'm not the best judge of my own character. It may just kind of like be my ego talking, and I need to make sure I murder that right away before falling too deep into this interpretation of reality.
Well, you know what? It's about to get weirder. And Mike, you're going to hate it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So the question to start with on this part is, why do?
Yes, why do indeed.
There are lots of reasons you might want to pursue magic. Maybe it's to make money. Maybe it's to help your friends. Maybe it's to affect major political and social change in the world when your country is going into fascism.
Maybe it's for a turkey sandwich.
You know, it might be. And those are all great reasons, but the big reason that I've discovered to try magic is because you're having fun. Advanced Magic for Beginners says straight up that if you're not having fun, then why do it?
What about ladies? What about picking up ladies?
Yes,
or men,
that too.
If you're into men.
That too.
Or both.
Yeah, no.
Or neither. What if it's you want to keep them away from you?
You can do that too.
Yeah, it's called practicing magic.
God, David, you're not helping.
What if you're Ray Stance and you want, ghost BJs?
We're going to get into avenues of manifestation.
That's called necromancy.
Yeah, that's a black art. So, anyway, the whole having fun thing, that doesn't mean to not take it seriously if you're going to do it, but it does mean that you should try to enjoy what you're doing.
I don't know. I take my fun very seriously.
I know you do. You fucking league bowl, which is its own sort of wizardry.
You keep bringing up bowling like it's some kind of black art.
I don't know. It's mostly.
I mean, it kind of is.
I mean, the fact that you'll do it without your backs hurting.
Like, how do you do a 7-10 split? That's just magic.
I've never done that. Jeez.
Well, you got to practice.
I've never seen anyone do that. Like that's like pro level. Even they have trouble picking it up. So
Guess you just got to get good.
Scrub, yes.
Yeah. So it can also help you meet people.
Like people I want to meet, or like just people in general.
It depends if you want to meet wizards, Mike.
If you want to meet halflings.
Are they going to make me like snort coke off their dicks? Because David makes me think that'll be a definite thing that might happen.
It could be ladies. You could snort coke off their hoo-has.
Or what if it's
Saruman,
coke
give
off
me
their
your
lady
rod.
dicks?
Their lady. Okay, well, whatever you're into, man. But maybe magicians aren't that common in your area, but do imagine the joy of finding like-minded individuals, like finding a D&D group.
I mean, we live in Mississippi, Kevin. There's not very many wizards down here.
You'd be surprised. One of them shops at our store.
Like, if I wanted to find a bunch of people in my town with a common hobby, I'd need to take up meth.
Yeah. Yeah, meth. Wonderful. I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't involve what's going on here, but
I mean, I could take up meth too, but I just can't afford it.
There's a
God.
method to the madness.
Could you imagine meeting a dude who just goes by the Wizard of Meth?
Oh, God.
Meth wizard.
I think we've got him. He comes in the store frequently. So let's say you decide to do some chaos magic. Well, how do?
As thou will, obviously.
Oh, you fucker, you. God damn. So, like I said before, chaos magic demands using various methods. Now, these include things from the right hand and left hand path systems. It can also include religious rites and superstitious practices. You see, the entire point behind chaos magic appears to be that belief and intent are the two most important aspects of magic. It technically doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you prescribe magical intent and meaning to that action. For instance, if you decide to create and charge a sigil as a magical act, then there is nothing saying you can't prescribe that same meaning to nailing your wallet to a tree and dancing around it while screaming to try and get money to come your way. In fact, a couple of days ago, I ran across a guy online arguing that if everyone else can divine the future from reading tea leaves, then he can do the same thing by smashing a can of Chef Boyardee ravioli in the parking lot. I feel that somewhere in there is the core of chaos magic.
The pasta path.
So if it doesn't matter what you do, then you don't have to do anything at all, and it just happens.
If
you can attribute it being back to magic, I mean, yeah, you could say, like, because I was not particularly invested in this, through my lack of investment, I have manifested it because I was not concentrated on it, which would have probably ruined my opportunity.
I will not lie that from the outside, there's a lot of mental gymnastics going on.
Absolutely.
And you know what that all is? That's all just prayer.
Yes. Yes. 100% it is the same goddamn thing.
Absolutely.
And your belief in whether it works or not is the same thing. So, if you're going to try a spell, the first thing you need to do is consider your statement of intent.
I'm going to pet that cat.
Oh, you card you. This is a sentence that defines exactly what you want to happen from your spell.
I said it already. That's what I want to happen.
Okay. Now, this includes considering what they call your avenue of manifestation. If you were to do a spell saying, "It is my intent to obtain flight," then one of three things is likely to happen. 1, you're going to have a dream that you can fucking fly. 2, you're going to take a trip on an aeroplane. 3, you're going to fall out of a fucking building and fly for about 20 seconds until you hit the pavement.
And
straight
if you're
down.
I was going to say if you're a transmutation wizard, you might turn into a housefly.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. No. I don't think falling is flying.
It's just flying downward.
Flying implies, a bit of control.
You can steer down.
Okay, flying implies that you will not come to a sudden and life-ending halt.
It doesn't
they
imply
can't,
that you... Sorry,
because
I was going to say they can't guarantee that because they guarantee that with an aircraft flight.
I mean, they're 99.99% guaranteed, yes. Otherwise, people wouldn't pay the prices they do for airline tickets. Now, they don't guarantee you have, a comfortable seat, but they do guarantee that you will, in fact, live at the end of your flight.
I don't know. I've seen plane crashes on the news.
Yeah, but you have...
I saw that South Park trailer.
But you... air travel is the safest thing you can do, period. Like, getting in your car to go to the airport is more dangerous. You're more likely to die doing that than you are in the airplane.
Mike has a point there.
But I'm going to say, also, my statement of intent to pet the cat is I'm going to walk over there and pet that cat.
Yes, because you believe you will pet that cat. Now, here's the thing.
I'm gonna laugh if Mike gets up to pet the cat and the cat runs out of the room.
Now, okay. Now, the reason for this avenue of manifestation, the reason for this, as I'm really happy the books point out, whatever your statement of intent is, you are still working within the goddamn confines of reality. Fantastical things can only manifest in ways that reality will allow.
Hence the cat leaving the room if it,
Yes.
so designs.
I like that Chaos Magic have built into their teachings their own legal disclaimer.
You can't sue us if this shit doesn't work.
It is my will, I will fly, and then you jump out of a fucking window. You didn't fly. Well, we didn't say you would fly. We said you might have a dream about it. You have to factor that in.
So is this like a monkey's paw thing? You're like, asking for this stuff and you don't know exactly how it'll manifest?
Yes.
Ah.
Because the most famous example of a terribly thought out statement of intent is, I wish I had a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, you're probably going to get hit by a Budweiser truck and win a lawsuit. And the inability to feel your legs.
I mean, some people might consider that a, equitable exchange.
I guess, but I'd rather have legs.
I mean, really? Would you really? Think about $50 million. Would
Mike,
you trade your legs for $50 million?
Mike, have you ever had a bed sore?
No, but
I have.
But $50 million can get you a lot of damn ointment.
Mike, would you trade your legs for $50 million?
I think Mike would.
I would actually have to think about that. I mean, sure, I'm sure there's a lot of people in wheelchairs that'd be up in arms about me saying that, and they would. But I don't know. I mean, I'm a bit of a lazy asshole anyway.
Okay, fair.
But I don't know. I mean, I would have to seriously think. I might not make that decision. The problem is I could say something glib right now because I don't have the actual thing staring me in the face.
But if it's one of those things, you'd have to have the $50 million looking at you.
Yeah, I would have to be in that situation to make that decision.
Like Zuckerberg would have to come up and be like, I'll give you $50 million if you let me saw your legs off.
It would have to be, I don't know about sawing the legs. I don't know. Being an amputee. Now, if it's just like being, maybe like
paraplegic.
I can't use the legs to walk. I don't know. I don't want them to cut my legs off, but maybe just couldn't walk anymore. I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
Well, I mean, that's magic. That's how it works. So you might end up losing your legs.
Yeah.
So anyway, now that we've talked about Mike being a paraplegic for money, now that you've got your statement of intent, what do you do with it? Well, one of the most popular forms of spell in chaos magic circles, and in general these days, is sigil magic. Yay, we're finally going to talk about it. As I said, this was largely developed by Austin Osman Spare and takes a lot of the complex and alienating aspects of magic out of the equation.
I want to push back against that, given the amount of shit you have to do that's kind of going to alienate people when you tell them about it.
Okay, sure, but it's better than altars, chanting, meditating for 12 hours, masturbating.
If you're in one of those rituals, at least it's somewhat popular, and it's like, I'm not the only one doing it.
I guess, but you also get a wank out of it. So, anyway, we're going to use my example earlier for our statement of intent. Okay. Mm-hmm. Your statement of intent is, it is my intent to obtain flight. Okay. First, we remove all the repeated letters and vowels from the sentence. I am keeping the letter Y in there because fuck it. So that leaves us with the letters T, S, M, Y, N, B, F, L, G, H. I know that sounds like we're summoning Cthulhu, but... Anyway. Yes. So, next, you can take those letters and arrange them into an abstract pattern. Now, I'm going to have an example pictured in the doc, so if you would like to see what that turns into, it will be there.
Now, I'm not the only one who sees titties in the drawing, right?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna masturbate to it, you have to at least have a little visual appeal.
I thought it was a butt. Okay.
No, see, okay, so number one, it looks like penetrative anal sex from one angle.
It kind of does, yes.
But from the other angle, it looks like boobies with a neckline and a choker.
It's
okay.
Mrs. H got a rack.
Fair. All right. Thank you for criticizing my fucking sigil. Alternately, you can use a witch wheel to make a sigil. Mm-hmm. Now, a witch wheel is a circle with the alphabet in 1 or 2 rings around a central point. You then start with the first letter and connect the dots with your letters, and you'll put like open circle on one end and a line on the other end. I can't remember which is start or stop. You can look that up. Again, though, I have a visual example in the document minus the witch wheel. Just the example of what the sigil's going to look like.
This looks like the worst spirograph ever.
It is, in fact. It also looks like a stick figure fell down the stairs.
Or he's kind of like kicking back and relaxing in one of those, sunbathing chairs.
Sure.
Reading a book.
It looks like when Hannibal Lecter asked Will Graham to draw a clock when he had inflammation on his brain.
Oh, great. So we need to draw a hole in my head. Perfect. So, anyway, after you have drawn your sigil, you're going to charge and release the sigil. Now, this will involve picturing your sigil and filling it with your intent and mental power. And you can carry it around in your wallet for a day or more to charge that sigil.
You, too, can feel like the Zodiac Killer. Leave your loved ones concerned and confused when you were hit by a truck.
What was this in his wallet?
Or, it's that unused condom that's been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
They're just gonna find a condom, some bubble gum, and like a Zodiac Killer witch wheel.
The funny thing is, there's another way to do sigils I didn't get to go into in the doc, where you basically just draw like a little picture that represents what you want. Like if you want your house protected, you can draw a little drawing of a house with a shield on it.
Aw.
It's just there's a lot of ways to do a sigil. I didn't realize.
It's time to do the macaroni pictures for the ritual.
Yeah, I desire a macaroni duck. Anyway,
a macaroni duck of intent.
So, after you have charged your sigil with your intent, you're going to have to achieve gnosis. This altered state can be entered via hyperventilation, or drugs, or meditation, or sexual release.
What about yoga?
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or running, a lot, getting runner's high.
What about petting cats?
Probably not unless you get aroused from it, I guess. In which case, do not listen to my show. So, this is why masturbation comes up so much when we mention chaos magic. Because
it's just easy.
A lot of the ways you can achieve gnosis are more difficult and don't have the same noticeable moment as sexual release. So you can probably see why masturbating is often the go-to. And
it's just fun.
Yeah, it's masturbating.
I mean, who's going to turn down a chance to masturbate?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, gooning for fun and profit. Either way, you win.
Yeah. So what you do is you masturbate, and at the moment of gnosis, you picture your sigil. Next, you destroy the sigil and then forget it. We'll get on to more of that in a bit, but you forget it.
So you have to be a master at just forgetting stuff on a whim.
Kinda, yeah.
Could you imagine how terrible of a D&D class this would be? You can't cast Fireball without dropping your trousers and rubbing one out onto a skull.
Oh.
I say we fucking homebrew this for D&D Beyond.
Oh god, Spooky Dice Bag is gonna suck.
Look, I already had this GURPS character, all right?
He did. He fucking did. Bukkake Ninja.
Yes. His
Jesus.
power was matter projection, which was his hyper velocity cum.
Yep.
Damn it.
Blasted someone's head off with it.
Yep.
That's a hell of a game. Hell of a game. So, another choice is your good old-fashioned rituals. I don't have specifics here because there are so many goddamn rituals. And almost all of them are from different magic systems. Honestly, do research into various forms of magic. Find a ritual that suits your mood, your needs, your experience level, how much fun it seems like it's going to be, and just fucking have at it. Have at it.
Mm-hmm. Have addicts? Oh, we don't have an addict.
Shut up. We do.
That's a crawl space.
So, like, maybe coming on a sigil doesn't count unless you've lit some candles and slathered on some essential oils?
Well, I mean, kind of.
Put on some Isaac Hayes.
Oh, yeah. Chocolate salted balls. Anyway, point is, rituals are the more complex things. Sometimes they're like, lighting a candle with a symbol drawn into it, or, the whole thing with the swords and the like, letting fruit rot on your altar, whatever.
Taking a big slam.
But that being said, if you're going to go and do the ritual, do it right. Do it for real. Don't go into it taking it as a joke, because your belief in the ritual determines if it's going to work, if you're believing in this stuff. Your intent defines your reality. Just don't believe it past a certain point. Chaos magic. Yay. Once again, forget you did it afterwards.
Now, while you may have forgotten, Jesus and your ancestors have not.
God damn it.
Yeah, Jesus isn't going to forget you spaking it to that Luigi porn.
Again, on Golgotha, Jesus saw you doing a spell so you would win the lottery and still died for your sins.
Yep.
Saw you jerk off into a piece of paper and burn it, and then was like, yeah, I guess I'll still do this.
I mean, you have to think that Jesus, after watching all this stuff, like, there's a point you're just like, okay, I get it. Look, doesn't matter how fucked up they are, I'm still going to do this shit.
Stop showing me.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. So, another popular form of magic is the use of servitors.
Like the Warhammer things?
Sort of. It's the idea of summoning a god, angel, demon, or spirit to do your bidding in your act of magic.
Or how about a corpse combined with some, technology?
That is necromancy.
No, but that's the Warhammer service.
With a K.
It is. Fuck you. Necroman. Oh,
N-E-K.
God damn. Oh, my.
Oh, it's so organic. I love it.
It's the wrong kind of servitor, Mike. Oh, God.
But
I was thinking of the avatars when you said servitors.
Yeah, no, I was saying the Adeptus Mechanica servitors.
No, certainly not those guys.
Well, what about the oh fuck, I can't remember what they're called now. The servo skulls.
Nope, definitely not those guys.
Okay.
Fuck those guys.
What about the Cherubiphum?
Nope, Cherubiphum?
Yeah.
No.
Now, it's interesting that you bring up the servitors, because what I've heard is that when you have a servitor error, you have to contact an administrator.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, the database errors really get you in the servitors.
Now, here's the thing about chaos magic. Being what it is, you do not have to limit yourself to the types of entities I described. If you're basically making a tulpa, you can use fictional characters if you fucking want.
Come on, Naruto, do my bidding.
As silly as it sounds, Mike, it's not unheard of to use Batman or something to gain his attributes or summon his entity.
If you're a JoJo fan, you can consider it your stand.
Oh, God damn it.
And we should absolutely try to make a tulpa eventually.
Oh, fucking hell no.
We should try that, but in Tulsa. Tulpa in Tulsa.
I don't like the idea of the three of us giving birth to anything.
Especially in Tulsa.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So, I will say, all the books that I've read on magic warn that if you're going to go this route, you need to take precautions.
Like condoms.
Circles, well, if you count a condom as a circle of protection,
Kind
yes.
of is.
Yeah.
Circle of protection, banishing spells, cleansing rituals, the whole 9 yards.
So if a condom's a circle of protection, a banishing spell, would that be an abortion?
Yeah, Plan B.
And cleansing rituals, that's just,
Douche.
feminine hygiene.
Yep. Anyway, once again, if you're going to believe in this while you're doing it, you need to go all the way. Personal note, use servitors at your own risk because you are summoning an outside force with its own needs and agendas. That is just something you have to consider.
Well, then they're not much of a servitor. Then they're kind of like a dude. It's like
that's
summoning your roommate to do your laundry.
Yes, if you summon your roommate with a binding ritual, which in the case of your roommate is going to be a handgun.
I was going to say $5.
No, it's a handgun.
It's like the slavery thing in an isekai anime.
Oh, God damn it. Every show.
Now, here's the thing. I bet there are stories we can dig up about this kind of thing. I know that 4chan's X board often has posts about their servitors getting out of control. If most of those aren't trolls, it'd be hilarious to think that there's like an epidemic of people's anime girl tulpas rebelling against amateur wizards out there.
I mean... Look,
yeah.
the guy the kind of guy that's going to summon an anime girl, you probably would want to rebel against him.
She wouldn't let me shoot ropes on her.
Oh, God.
She wouldn't wear the cat ears and go, yeah.
She just kept talking about wanting to conquer the world.
It's like an Archer Krieger with his anime girl hologram wife.
God damn it.
She's talking about agency. What's that?
I don't get it. What's free will? Anyway, I keep telling you to forget the ritual or spell or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being, if you think about it too much, the intent of the sigil or spell changes.
Okay.
If you did a sigil or something, and you keep thinking, I hope it works, your will change the intent of the sigil or spell to, I hope it works. It will then become a self-fulfilling prophecy where you just continue to hope it works, meaning the spell has manifested in that form.
Okay, this is just like this. So this is another one of those things that's like, I'm seeing. Okay, I've felt that way before, but it's just more superstitious thinking because there's several times I've like done something like say had a job interview or maybe was in a contest or something, and I keep thinking, don't think about it, because if you think about it, and I'm like, oh, no, that's not going to... Look, me thinking about something is not going to change something that's happening way the fuck over there.
Yes, but if you're doing something that you think...
But I'm just saying that I get
that. Will into existence.
That's what I'm saying is I feel that way, even though I know logically it shouldn't matter.
Okay.
I still think that... I still start thinking about it, and I tell part of, there's a little voice that says you shouldn't think about that because you're it's not going to happen if you think about it. I'm like, no, fuck you, you little superstitious thing. That's not how reality works.
Okay, fair. But basically, you need to do your best to forget the sigil and what you were trying to accomplish for now. So that's why I keep saying forget it. It's the same concept you were talking about.
Well, I think it definitely aligns with the principles of avoiding dogmatism and deconditioning the mind. For one, you're throwing away the belief to a degree as what happens. With ego death, if you dwell too much on the ritual and the potential results, you're no longer centered on the goal, but rather your approach, putting too much of yourself into that process. The act of release or pouring your energy into it and destroying the ritual elements is meant to cut yourself out of all of it.
Yes, that's actually their logic.
But you could also say that that's dogma, so therefore you shouldn't listen to that dogma and you should think about it all the time.
Okay. I mean, that's fair if you're being pedantic, but also, not giving a shit, is that necessarily a philosophy? Is that dogma, though?
I don't know. Fuck.
They're saying don't think about it. That sounds very dogmatic to me, so.
I don't know about that because
they're saying it's a staple of their, of the process is don't think about it.
Y'all have just given voice to why I don't do this.
Oh, look, we made a tulpa.
So, what? No.
It's a ritual the entire time.
So, oh, great. The worst hyper ritual ever. So, earlier in the episode, I mentioned a magic journal. This is where you take a sort of scientific approach to it. Mike, I'm sorry in advance. You note the time you perform the magical act, the weather conditions, your mental state, and any other related information to the spell.
Like your dosage.
Sure, I guess. I'm also a bit confused on this part, because if you're supposed to forget the whole thing, how are you supposed to make the notes without tainting the results? This is why I'm not a magician.
I mean, you can write it down and then forget it.
Yeah, I think this may be a way that that interpretive line of like overthinking. Maybe the journal is something you only use like twice per spell, right? Like when you note the ritual and intent, you put it out of your active mind, and when you achieve the result, you note it, and then you just move on. There may be some power in like the discovery of reopening the journal and see that, oh yeah, I did manifest this.
And that is a general idea.
But then again, that brings up on so say you want a result, you do the thing, and then you forget about it, and then you look through the journal later and discover, oh, that did happen. It's like, well, but what if it was something that was going to happen anyway?
Well,
like
that's where you take credit. That we'll get into that here in a minute.
I mean,
when we get to the results.
I think that's part of the whole magic thing. Is like, it could have very well been you. Maybe it wasn't, but to some degree, you might have manifested it, and you take a comfort in that.
Yeah, and we're actually just about to discuss that, Mike. Everything I've read says that for results, you should expect results in a matter of days or a couple of weeks, depending on what your intent was. How will you know this happened? Synchronicity!
Woo!
Good old meaningful coincidence. I know that David understands this point of view as Mike is pulling his hair out, but coincidence is the soul of the magical process. Mm-hmm. Magicians look to coincidence as the world or nature or magic or a god speaking to them and acting, and I get that, but it's also... magic is essentially looking at coincidence and taking credit for it when you get down to it.
Yeah, as much of experience is a combination of like random experiences and consequences of conscious choices, I think everybody feels like there are moments when things feel a little more mystical, or at least outside of the kind of random chance or active. It's magical thinking leans into that and tries to give structure to it for better or worse.
Yeah, yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you would have something for that.
I mean, it's like winning the lottery and saying it was because of my method.
Oh yeah, no, it kind of is.
But I mean, magicians do try to take credit for things that, like, did you really do that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
and that's
when you said magician, I started thinking of like David Copperfield or something.
Oh my God. Not magus then. But okay, so if you did the spell and it worked, note the results in your journal. If you did the spell and it didn't work, note the results in your journal and why it might not have worked, and try something else.
And like, I think I can square the thing with the journal with the ideas you're supposed to forget. Like the idea that you're supposed to forget what you did. There's kind of a line between knowing you did something and like obsessing over it, right?
Yeah, I don't have the way to separate that.
Yeah, I think it also helps to make the magical thinking work, because if you obsess over it, you color the results. But if you just note it and move on until the result is achieved, it ends up feeling more magical. It's kind of like finding a $20 bill in your wallet when you simply forgot it was there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you slipped it in there, but forgot all about it until like you rediscover it. At a time, you could really use that $20, right? That's
yeah,
magic.
Well, also the whole separation thing. It's kind of like me and DeviantArt. Back when I was on DeviantArt and it wasn't like a cesspool, which was a very, very short period of time.
I was going to say, I don't think it ever wasn't a cesspool.
I would post on DeviantArt and then obsess over, did I get any notes? I'm incapable of separating myself, so I would make a terrible magician. Now,
yeah, I feel like you would make a good right-hand path.
I don't know, man. Maybe, but I also don't want to put that much effort into it. So
No. I mean that's fair. I feel like I'm slotting very neatly into chaos magic, and I'm concerned about that.
would you like to scream at me for a minute about any of this? I'm going to give you an opportunity. Okay. Wow.
I hated that.
Yeah, same here. I was not a fan.
You manifested it, you bitch.
Yeah, I guess I did.
I mean, so here's the
Your
problem.
scream was a tulpa.
Here's the problem is that, you kind of alluded to it earlier, but say if there's something you want to happen and you do all this shit and then forget about it, well, it's still in your subconscious, so you're probably still working towards it subconsciously. But it's going to happen because you did things.
And that's fine. It's getting it out of your conscious mind that they say you need to do.
This is just a mystical to-do list with more coming involved.
I think that's fair.
Look, I can't complain about that, though, because
I have a whiteboard next to me that sometimes when I have a bunch of projects, I'll write them on the board so I keep track.
Okay. Have you tried masturbating about them, though?
No. Maybe that's why most of them don't get done, and it's not because of my damn procrastination.
Okay, there you go. Jerk off about
I'm pretty sure
replacing something in the car.
I'm pretty sure if I jerked off about it, I would still procrastinate. I would just,
Yeah, but I bet you'd think about it a lot sooner.
I mean...
You look at the board, go,
oh
yeah, jerked off about that. Guess I better go do it.
No, I would now be tired and maybe go take a nap.
If anything, it distracts you because you're just writing shit on your board just to jerk off.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I need to do my laundry.
Now I really got to do my laundry. Oh, man.
Kevin would be very upset with me masturbating.
You'd have to move the board.
I'd have to go in my room.
Yeah, the board would have to be in your room. Okay, so let's
Mike's whiteboard time.
It's a whiteboard, yes.
Let's talk about chaos magic and pop culture a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit. There's not all that much to say about it, but there's a little bit. It has had a hell of an influence on pop culture. Maybe not quite as much as Discordianism, which is shocking, but it's there. We're going to look at 3 examples, shall we? First off, Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
Grant Morrison is one of those names that's kind of ubiquitous in the comics industry, or he used to be. And we're going to talk about him in depth at a later date because this cat is insane. But I'm just going to simply mention that his most esoteric series called The Invisibles is a bizarre combination of everything we've ever talked about on this series and acted as what he called a hyper sigil that he says started affecting and damaging his life. He did it to keep the comic series going, but he says it kept the series going in the face of cancellation and got him deathly ill for a time because of stuff he did in the comic. Again, look for our Magic and Comics episode in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I also have the hardback collection of The Invisibles. One of the best purchases I ever made. But absolutely, a lot of the 2000 AD British invasion comic authors really bought into this kind of thinking, and we'll unpack a lot of that when we do the Magic and Comics episode.
Yeah. Now next, Warhammer 40,000. I know 40K is extremely popular these days due to games like Space Marine and Space Marine 2, and my dearest Henry Cavill being the huge nerd that he is. But when me and Mike and David were younger, there was nothing quite as British as Warhammer 40,000.
I also want to note to all the listeners that there were a bunch of hearts drawn around the name Henry Cavill in the script.
I would
of this
ask you
episode.
to not point that out. 40K was a project of the 80s and was being developed in the same environment as Chaos Magic, which the whole period from the 70s to like 95 was very much its gestation period. It was very much in the cultural zeitgeist over there on their tiny island home. And it was only natural that certain cross-contamination was going to occur. I mean, there's a reason a magic force in there, there's a magic force in there called Chaos, and they use that sigil as their banner, the Chaos sigil.
Yeah. I mean, they were just pulling stuff from everywhere.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It was like
early 40K was pretty wild because it had a much more like punk aesthetic to it. A lot of like because borrowed a lot from again like 2000 AD. A lot of the storytelling, like Judge Dredd, was a huge influence on that.
Yeah.
It's not a big country.
A lot of Dune, a lot of Star Wars. You know.
Yeah, no, it's all in there. But like, yeah, the whole Chaos thing. I mean, it was Chaos Magic was much bigger in the UK than it's ever been in the United States.
Like all of this is going to be part of that like 70s magical Britain episode that we decided we have to do.
Yeah, it's like right now that we decided.
Right.
But
yeah, because you know the Dick Cokes wizards.
Yeah, you got to talk about the Dick Coke wizards.
That's a great name for a band.
I'm just imagining guys in like kind of like black with purple striped suits and you know wizard hats, nicely you know like coiffed beards and
just with their dick out with cocaine on it.
Yeah.
Is it bad that I just keep picturing Paul?
I mean, he would have fit in.
He would have been a Dick Coke wizard, yeah.
He's a Dick Coke wizard.
Oh God.
He's got such
that needs to be a fucking t-shirt.
supple.
Dick Coke wizards. I'm gonna let you design that one, David.
DCW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, lastly,
How do you think he does it?
Oh God. So, lastly, the KLF, of course. We did a whole episode on the KLF, but I just wanted to reiterate here that Drummond and Caudy were chaos magicians, and I don't think they ever really knew it. Even after talking to Alan Moore, there is no reason anything those two motherfuckers did should have worked, except that they fucking willed it to work through their bizarre ritualistic behavior in the press. There is no goddamn reason the KLF should have been as big as they were.
That fucking award show stunt.
Holy shit.
I still think about that.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot from, like, the whole manhole cover thing. Again, for more on that, listen to our KLF episode, which I have linked in the document. It's probably my finest moment as a creator on this show. I think it may be my favorite thing I've ever done. So, there we have it, guys. A generalized rundown on a topic I am unhealthily fascinated by. I know that magic isn't real, as it were, but I do believe in the ability of our will to redefine our reality. Maybe not completely on a magical level, but maybe a little bit I do. I don't know. There have been too many times I've seen shit happen that there is no way it should have worked, KLF included. Hell, we're living in one right now, but we'll talk about that another day. That's a conspiracy theory. I've also seen situations where I've wished and hoped and prayed so intently for something that when it failed, it must have been magic. I mean, maybe I'm like Rincewind. I don't know. Maybe my existence makes everyone else more magical by comparison. I'm not positive. Anyway, at best, chaos magic is a fun thing to do on weekends on a lark if you're not going to take it too seriously. At worst, though, I can easily see how this can warp your perceptions of reality. They actually have a term, magicitis, for people who become so full of themselves that they are a danger to themselves and others because of their magical practices. it could possibly damage your mental health. So, as with anything, please be careful. It's something you could get into and easily become obsessed with, and it could ruin your life. Unless you're mentally healthy enough, then go for it. So anyway, that's it. How about you guys? What do you think?
What do you got, Mike?
I mean, I think I've made myself pretty clear. I don't think I have a capping thing. I've kind of sprinkled my thoughts throughout. It's just
like seed,
like Coke on a wizard's dick. I sprinkled it right around everywhere.
Here's
Dick
a question.
Yeah.
In junior high or high school, if somebody had been like, "Hey man, do you want to come do a ritual?" Would you have done it?
Fuck no.
Really? Okay.
I mean,
would you have done a Ouija board?
I mean, I did Ouija board
when
I was a kid, but
now, could you tell us what happened when you did the Ouija board real quick?
Before
let David give it a thing?
So I think it was in my probably around 12 years old or so, definitely junior high age era, and so we're all I think it was three or four of us, and we all have our hand on the
planchette
cursor.
Did you just call it a fucking cursor?
Yeah, the cursor.
You piece of shit.
What else are you going to call a thing that points at stuff?
It's a planchette.
Kate Blanchett?
Okay, it's a cursor.
Kate,
Fine.
Kate with a K.
So anyway.
God damn it.
So we're all got our hands on it, and it is just not moving. It's just not moving at all. And so me and my 12-year-old thought is I could move it. So I start moving it in response to the questions. So I was the asshole moving the cursor around, answering the questions.
It just seems like it was a trolling ghost that manifested its will through you.
Mike, when you moved it, did you at least go, woo?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right. David?
So, I really like a lot of this, and it kind of fits my mindset. Now, will I be coming on sigils in the near future? I don't know. We'll see what Patreon money is in that. But
we're not putting videos up.
Right. But really, I stressed early on that I see a lot of this as kind of an informal philosophy or approach to existence. I think the principles are sound in developing a flexible worldview. I'm unsure about the actual manifestation of magic. But I think having our silly little rituals does go a long way towards getting us to think about the things we want and how to go at them.
Right.
So if you want to have good luck with a presentation and take 3 spins before opening your front door, there really is no harm in that, because more than likely you've taken the other more practical steps into making that solid presentation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And one thing I didn't mention in here that is brought up in some books but not others is, and Henry Zabrowski brought this up in the Chaos Magic episode. He did a Chaos Magic ritual to try to land a network television show, being an actor. And so he did a ritual. And then he went out and busted his ass doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is, and again, this goes back to religion. There's a saying, the whole saying of faith can move mountains.
Mm-hmm.
The follow-up to that is faith can move mountains, but God expects you to be the first person to pick up a shovel.
Yeah.
So, it's the same principle.
Well, it's like what Mike said about, prayer earlier on. If you're just going to pray for the thing, you're not going to achieve the results. But if you pray and then you do the work, right? So, it's almost like the starter pistol to, the race that is actually manifesting something.
Right. And it's also if you're going to pray or do a ritual to help the homeless, you should also probably start a soup kitchen.
Yeah. Which is why thoughts and prayers doesn't work when there's a mass shooting, because people aren't willing to do the work to stop the mass shootings.
So it also probably has a bit of what you could call, I don't know, confidence or, dick swinging. It's say if you have a big job interview tomorrow, well, if you, maybe if you are so inclined, if you, pray or do one of these rituals, well, you think, I got it in the bag. So therefore you're more confident and, ergo, the outcome is better. Because
I can see that.
You were confident and
Yeah.
not, nervous.
Yeah, no, that is a perfect example of the whole idea.
You got, you
Or you lick a lobster.
you want to meet somebody at a bar. Well, you do your thing before you go out, and then you're out there, and not only do you have post-nut clarity, but you also have, the swagger.
Because I just did magic because I'm a wizard.
Therefore, this person's going to want to be up in my business.
Yeah.
I think everybody, like, I don't know if they think of it in terms of rituals, but I think everybody has these little rituals.
Oh, absolutely. Whether you think of them as a magic ritual, everybody's got like a thing.
The hype. See, I don't. Maybe I just need like a little hype man to like hype me up every time I'm going to do something.
Yeah, you got this. You got this.
Because I just like, doubt myself into.
I do it all the time. Shit.
Like, Mike, I know you say you don't, but I'm feeling pretty certain that you do, and you just haven't put it together yet, that it is kind of like this kind of weirdly esoteric thing that you do.
Mike.
No, here's the thing is I have those thoughts and then I skeptic myself away from them because,
But that's rejecting dogmatism right there.
Hey, Mike.
So you're engaged in...
Mike.
Huh.
Before every show, what do?
That's
You make a drink.
That's
your
fucking
ritual.
liquor. That's fucking liquor. That doesn't count.
Look, that's not alcoholism. That's a magical ritual.
I can't go to a job interview buzzed.
Okay, yes, but we're talking about for the show specifically.
Yeah, it's not like a one-size-fits-all thing for every scenario. But even with your, like, skepticism that you integrate, that's still kind of following that chaos magic ritual because you were kind of putting that thing out of your mind.
Alternately, we're hanging magic drapes on something Mike does.
It's a lot of after-the-fact associations that we're making here, but that's kind of how fucking chaos magic works.
The liquor has a actual quantifiable effect on my metabolism.
It also keeps me and David alive.
It now if I was like drinking like I don't know orange water or something before
Orange water.
I'm thinking
Are
of
you
something
trying to
that
say
wouldn't-
orange juice?
No, orange water. That's a thing. Orange water's a thing. Or rose water or
Rose water I've heard of, but orange water's new to me. Okay.
No, it's an actual thing. Look it up. I dare you.
It's like, are you talking about juice?
No. No.
I'm gonna get the water from that orange.
Hey, asshole.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at David's confusion as much as yours, Dave. Anyway, I'm sorry. Okay, orange water. Okay, I'm good.
But so fuck y'all.
I'm sorry, Mike. It's
Fuck with a
David's
K?
fault.
You're blaming David. You're laughing just as loud.
Yeah, because he said, fucking, did you mean orange juice? I was just asking what orange water was.
Sure.
Yeah, look, motherfucker. I don't even remember what this show was about anymore.
It was about coming on papers.
Okay,
It was about
good.
chaos.
I remember now.
It was about
coming
chaos.
on sick. Chaos.
With a K.
Oh, man, that was a fun one. Man, I'm glad we finally got that out of the way. Now we can move on to serious business like Aleister Crowley coming in people and not on paper.
He made human sigils.
Wait, no, my bad. He was the sigil. He got the cum. My bad. Anyway, I had a lot of fun with this one, guys. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, gonna go try some magic,
No.
David?
I'll need to hydrate with some orange water first.
God, fuck off. We just got over that. I think Mike's gonna leave the show now. Jesus. Well, look, thank you everyone for listening. Mike, have you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, drink Mike's brand orange water.
Okay. David, have you got anything you want to plug? Don't say orange water.
The letter K, it's done some heavy lifting this episode.
Remember, it's orange water with a K. Oh, God. No, what got me was everything you said had a K sound, or could have a K in it. That was insane. I'm going to say, once again, check out Spooky Dice Bag, and check out Flag for Content, and head to David's stuff over at hpcomics.com.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
With a K.
With a K. With a K. HP Comics with a K.
Mm-hmm.
For magic.
For the
McGick.
K is for McGick.
Suck on McGick.
HP Gick. All right. And so, yeah. Again, thank you everyone for listening. If you would like to learn more about the show, head to supernatpod.rocks. That is supernatpod.rocks. You can find everything you need to about the show there. You can find links to our Discord, our Patreon, our store, and a page with every episode of this show and the Distraction Hole. Yeah, that's about it. So, we will see you guys next time. So until then, stay safe and stay frosty. Goodbye. My brain totally locked up there at the end.
McGick.
Well, it was Black McGick that locked up my brain.
With a K.
The biggest, blackest McGick.
God damn it. Oh my God, Mike. That's terrible.